Welcome everybody. Got the upper bracket finals here, Arcade versus LeiSuRe. I'm LeiSuRe, joined by Awesome Sauce again. How you doing?
Doing great. Really excited to be here with you. This is Germany versus Russia in this upper bracket, and it's going to be an interesting match coming in here. This best of three. Going to be Dust 2, Mirage, and then, if needed, Cash.
The LeiSuRe side,
good one.
It's a 50-50 on Lounge. I haven't gotten much of a chance to, do much research on this match. I've definitely casted both of these teams before. LeiSuRe a lot more. I just rolled out of bed, so looking at the Lounge odds, well, it's a dead 50-50. Based upon my prior experience, I would give the edge to LeiSuRe, but I think that bias is just because I've casted them a lot more.
Oh, absolutely. Well, some fighting in mid occurring, and nothing really going on at this point except one of the T's, Vlad, is down. And so now the T's have to kind of make a decision what they're going to do, if they're going to group up and try some kind of a split or a fake or anything like that. They are going to smoke off the side of CT to try to do a split to B, maybe force some kind of a move. Like Light might try to pop out, yeah.
Trying to prompt a rotate. This is an interesting strat from LeiSuRe because they bait out middle just a little bit and then begin to prod out long. But the amount of people that they have taking these two positions isn't necessarily the greatest. And then JR shuts down Catwalk, Arcade on long as well. LeiSuRe lose a man early, try to throw a mid to B fake. They don't necessarily poke out enough at middle to sell that fake, and Arcade still have 3 at the A site and just hit their shots.
Yeah, it was a really good job by Arcade to get that first pick, kind of fall back and wait for LeiSuRe to make a move. They didn't move on that forced rotate, I would say, and it really ended up working out pretty well for them at this point. So now we've got LeiSuRe here with Armor Tech 9s, except Light. Looks like he might be saving for that op. They're going to be gifted long control and the tunnels. What they're going to be able to do with it, Vlad fighting a little bit on that catwalk into tunnel, but nothing really going on at this point.
Yeah, not much. LeiSuRe, they've been allowed out long. It's Sotvic atop the A site. And he should have no problem defending this attempted plan unless LeiSuRe somehow get him to rotate. But I just don't see a way that they could remove the anchor off of A without getting, at least 2 or 3 kills towards this this B side, and they don't have any map control. They're still struggling to take up middle. They've been locked down inside the tunnels, and now the remaining 2 try their luck at long. Just everything stuff that round. Aggressive stuff.
Yep. They get it done, though. Arcade not losing anybody as well, which is a big bonus for them and their money. They haven't had anybody die at this point. Their money's just going to continue to grow, and they're going to have LeiSuRe here on a full save. Nothing that they can really do. So I would expect to see maybe some kind of either an A long push to try to get those Glocks out and get close, or some kind of a B push. But it actually looks like it's actually going to be a long hit from what we're telling preliminarily. But oh, look at this. Here comes Mir. He's going to push up mid and try to get some frags, but he's going to go down to the Glocks.
Glocks. It's happening. They get 1 kill. When you have 5 Glocks invested, it's so hard to get a kill if you don't go with a hard execute or just like a hard rush. You can't call it an execute because there's not much... There's no utility being used, and I'm surprised that Mir would just charge up mid. That was the only weapon that probably would be had the least value taken into the next round, maybe arguably the Scout. But I don't know if I like that play from Mir. Yeah, he could have got a bunch of kills with the UMP, but instead you do donate 1 over to the LeiSuRe side, and that's what I expected to see whenever LeiSuRe executed out long. Usually, teams, when they're not investing anything, just a $200 flashbang can maybe net you a kill. I think it's worth it instead of just going flat Glocks.
Yeah, you're right about that. They do get 1, though, but that's all they're going to get. And here's the T's with the full first buy of the game. Here comes the op from Light, so he's going to get that op. Pay attention to him. And JR's oppers, yeah, Light seems to be, as you say, pretty darn sick. Is he going to get anybody on the mid-cross? This would be huge if he's able to do it. I don't know if he spotted him crossing with that grenade in the middle. But we'll have to see what kind of defaults that this LeiSuRe team wants to set up, and if they decide to go for, these defaults consistently, or if they're going to just try to get a pick, reset, and set up for some strats. There's a lot of different mentalities for Dust 2, as you are already aware of, being an ex-pro player yourself. So you understand Dust 2 a little bit better than I do. Looking at the big picture, though, what do you think LeiSuRe has to do on this gun round to get back into it?
Well, there's a couple things you could do on your first gun round. Either you could go for the feel-out process like you were talking about and try to set stuff up from there, or you could just go have a plan from the beginning of the round and execute it. And LeiSuRe, that might be here. They are sending 4-man out mid. So yeah, there's no default here. They're running straight out mid. They're finding all the entries. 2 for 1 so far. They left the bomb in tunnels and they go with the flasher to grab it. Interesting to note, but Hut G, he's changing this round on its head. And now JR and Remux. Wow, that fell apart for LeiSuRe. I can't believe that happened. I gotta highlight a few things there. LeiSuRe not going out for the default. They go with a hard mid execute, and it wasn't mid to B. They left the bomb inside the tunnels, and they sent everybody out mid, save the person who threw the flashbangs, which was the opper at mid. His job is to go back and grab the op in tunnels. That means they don't have any pressure coming out from the B main entrance right away, and everybody's coming out mid. So the CTs are allowed to fixate all their attention on the players coming out mid to B.
Valid points there from LeiSuRe. Jesus, and right now we've got the CTs 2 at long. The arcade here just hanging out, holding off this long push. They don't want to give as much map control up as they can. Back over at mid here, Mir's fighting a little bit. He does see some people moving. I think they're just going to try to push up Cat and see if they can flood it, but they're going to have to deal with Mir at mid. Or maybe not. Maybe they're just going to feel it out, get Cat control, and move from there. And, you know, really, Cat is one of those things. You can just get up, you can jump down, you might be able to get something done. But fighting with just pistols, long range especially, against those players on ramp and near car is a really hard thing to do. But I think they're just going to kind of come out mid and see what they're able to feel out.
And maybe they can find an entry onto the B site, and then it'd be 4 3-on-1. There it is. But Hut G before, when LeiSuRe had guns, looked phenomenal from this position. He seems to be really comfortable in that window, just shifting back and forth between any B presence and any mid presence from the LeiSuRe side. So when you don't go for the default setup on your first gun round and you go for what LeiSuRe went for, which is just like a set plan from the beginning, when you open up into your default, it can be more difficult to establish it, because I mean you haven't shown it to the CTs yet. So if LeiSuRe does that, I mean, I think they have to at this point.
I agree with you as well. I think that's something they need to do down 5-0. Definitely not out of their hands yet, but they need to start winning some rounds and maybe force a little bit of a reset. Some fighting going on at the long doors. They are taking a little bit of damage and hanging out with Thoth. Nothing's going on really too much there at this moment. So now they're just going to kind of hang out, maybe work up towards Cat, maybe find a pick mid, and try to see what they can do to get in. But with no CTs actually on a site, it's going to look a little bit deceiving to MNL when he does try to make a move here.
It's pretty straightforward LeiSuRe T side right now. They're not waiting later parts of the round. They're not trying to pick arcade apart. They did go for some long control at the beginning, but they're denied that. MNL gets the opener onto JR, and this long duel is so critical. Sotfik needs to win this, and he's going to go down. That puts LeiSuRe up huge in this round. In arcade, instantly, when that long duel is lost, they know the round is probably lost. We have to retake long control. We have to retake cat control, and doing that with 3 players versus 5 isn't viable.
Yeah, and saving these guns, even if they can save 2 of these, would be very, very important so they can still buy into this next round. And the situation is if Arcade loses this round, which they will, they'll be 5-1. And if they win the next round, they could force LeiSuRe on an eco, depending on their situation. But now with LeiSuRe having so many survive, it may not even happen.
Yeah, it's crazy that LeiSuRe take their first gun round and then do it with everybody surviving. That kind of removes them out of that scary reset territory, and they survive with both these AWPs. They still had a little utility in the bank, so I don't think they'll quite be in reset territory. But looking at the arcade side, since they saved, similar situation. So both teams, even though they suffered some losses, or only 1 loss for the LeiSuRe side, they still have a decent economy at their back. So it's weird to see 6 rounds in that both teams' economy is okay and not in reset territory. But that LeiSuRe T side so far, it's not like they're spending a whole bunch of time or waiting till around the 40-30 second mark to execute. They seem to just do it around 110, 115. They just set up and go.
It's definitely it's certainly a different approach than I think I'm used to seeing, but it did work out that round for them. Here they come. They're going to flash out. They're going to find Soft. They're going to have to fight him. He's going to get a trade. So Refrag coming in does favor the CTs quite a bit here at a 4v3, as they can spread out and still cover anything. Now they're going to be able to maybe prod for some information on Cat. Maybe cut off a rotation from Long. They could play a retake on A if they had to in the situation, but I don't know really if they're going to do that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, with those 2 ops surviving for them, it really doesn't make them in that reset position. It's just very rare to see 5 people surviving on a first gun round like that they were able to win at least.
Definitely.
Nonetheless, we're going into it, and they're just playing really passive at long, trying to get some information.
LeiSuRe, they've taken a long time, but Arcade, they've been working around the map, and suddenly they have 3 people inside of A when LeiSuRe have matching numbers trying to take the bomb site. Fire's okay. The T-Rock's forced to extinguish that one. Nope. He's going to save his smoke for the cross. He wants another player inside of the bomb site. He realizes there's way too many people here. I need somebody to trade off with me. And JR from the catwalk. Hutchie lurks outside of the smoke. LeiSuRe just took a long time lurking around at long. And when everybody on your team is at long, you have no idea what's going on the rest of the map. So Arcade, good realization of everybody at LeiSuRe is most likely at long. And when you have matching numbers as a T trying to take into a bomb site, which is being held by the same amount, you're probably not going to take it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and they read that very well. They kind of knew what was going on here. And here's some long fighting coming in. MNL with the first frag. That puts him up in a 5v4, and that's huge. You know, he gets in there and gets that frag and can fall back. Now they can try to force the CTs to have to make an aggressive play because they're down in a 5v4. And some teams will do that. Some won't, but nonetheless, Baker's going to get him, get traded out. Still going to favor the Ts. They are trying to get mid control, and they will get it. Now they just have to be concerned about the guys over at A. They don't know they're there. Now I think they're just going to try to get into B, which is probably the best move from what they know and from what we can see as well. So this could put LeiSuRe with a round win. A little bit of fighting at CT.
Ooh, the castle. They shift each other's position through the smoke. A little goofy there. Oh. But JR, what happened? Light, he gets caught looking down the double doors, and suddenly Arcade, from a 4-on-2 situation onto a retake of B, a situation that's generally impossible. Now, LeiSuRe have given them a chance, but Colby will go down. And LeiSuRe, there's nothing impressing me about their T side other than their entry fragging ability, because they got that one at long, they got the one at mid, and then they just rush through the smoke and try to trade off with their teammates. We haven't seen them try to go with that slow default style and manipulate the rotations of Arcade at all. They've just gone for straight entries, or this is the plan at the beginning of the round, hit your entries.
Yeah, and they are. And they did in that round. Can they consistently do this, though? When you're taking those 50-50 engagements, you know, sometimes you're going to not necessarily get lucky, but you're going to have better spawns, you're going to have better positions, and it also depends on what the CTs are doing. And so, right there at long, no pick given, but some damage done to the Ts. Got a couple of them down low on HP with that nade that came in. And so, yeah, you're right. I mean, nothing really too impressive here so far at this point, but here comes Hachi. Can he get through this smoke, or is he just going to wait? He is going to go ahead and hesitate himself to flash himself through. He is going to push through, and MNL is going to be waiting. Make a move. He sees the op, misses the shot, and now mid-control. Look, both the CTs pushed out of B, and now all 5 Ts are surviving at this point. They're going to get the bomb down in the site. 5v5. Very unorthodox.
Weird. This is so strange. Arcade, they give up the B bomb site completely. Or they pushed into the tunnels, and little did they know LeiSuRe was just running out mid to B. There is one for JR, so at least they can create the split onto the bomb site. But even with 4 people versus 5, I still favor LeiSuRe in this situation. That B bomb site, there's so many things that can go wrong. Your coordination has to be on point. Arcade, it looks like it is. And everybody splits into the site. LeiSuRe buckles. But since Arcade gave up the B bomb site, I guess they didn't lose anybody inside of the tunnels. They didn't lose anybody at mid, so 5-on-5, the retake onto B, it's not favorable, but they make it work.
Yeah, I think that may be one of the first times I've seen a 5v5 retake on the B site with the bomb down.
Gun round.
Yeah, especially a gun round. Yeah, so that was fun to watch, and it was fun to see how that played out. And for those of you at home watching, hopefully it was a good round to watch. And now we do have LeiSuRe 2-7 at this point. They're going to have to buy some pistols, try to go for the next round. If they lose this round with no gun or no bomb down, they're only going to get 1,900. So they'd like to get the bomb down, but it looks like Arcade is denying it all around and wrong.
That's the flash I was asking for on the round with Glock, but it doesn't seem to change what happens that long. LeiSuRe, yeah, no bomb plant. I still think they'll go for the buy, even with such little. I mean, they don't need much utility given what they're doing. Light going with the glass cannon. Yeah, they're just going to full buy up here. This is a big round for LeiSuRe. They can't allow Arcade to go up 10-0 or 10-2. And I'm worried for their T side, because as long as Arcade doesn't give up the entry frags right away at the beginning of the round. And look at this. More from LeiSuRe. It doesn't look like they want to play that Dust 2 meta. They just want to go in your face and, you know, let's trade. Can you stop us?
And look at this. There's Remix just getting out there, finding that first frag. Frag also coming in on Cat. Refrag coming in from Coldy. And now they're going to have a 4v3 on the A site. Can they get in there and get this bomb down? Retaking on A is a little bit easier than retaking on B, I would say. I think you'd agree with me.
Yeah.
But they're going to get the bomb planted for Goose. Potentially a little bit of a long hit, depending on where somebody is at long. If Light can survive as he's fighting, he might be able to just do that.
And Arcade, good at realizing when the round is lost. We've seen this twice now with their rotations. They begin working up towards A, and then once one of the long duels is lost, they immediately start saving, and that's just smart, because when you lose that one long player, the chances of you retaking the site just drop dramatically. They do keep the LeiSuRe economy low, and that's a little frustrating, because they were at a 4-on-2, and if they survived with everybody, you know, they'd be able to avoid that reset potential, give themselves a little economic buffer. But now with only 3 surviving, Arcade still have a chance by winning this next round to have just a half that LeiSuRe won't be able to come back from.
Oh yeah, you're right. And Arcade at this point knows that LeiSuRe's money is very low. If they lose this round, they're going to get 1,900 without a bomb plant, which would be enough maybe for a few of them to buy some pistols. But they would have to probably save. And here they come. It's like a B train. They don't even care. They're not even concerned about the current meta. They just want to get out and make things work. Here they come.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. You know we're coming at the beginning of the round. Try to stop us. Hutchie and Mir so far doing a decent job. You'll get spammed through the double inside of the site, though. So 3-on-2 retake, but the problem from LeiSuRe here is the utility on that Arcade side. And Light, he's thinking about going for a pick-out window. I don't blame him in this situation. You could put your teammate into 1-on-3, but a 2-on-2 sounds a lot more viable. Oh, he's not going to go for it. He's going to fall back. But the main thing I'm concerned about here is the utility of Arcade. They could just bombard the bomb site. JR going to miss the shot onto the player in the back of Plat, but the info is there. He did spot Light moving his way back there. And MNL, this frag would be vital. He'll bring down JR. Now Light will hit one, despite the info being there. Coldy, all he has to do is dodge one shot. He will. Light trying to get small, and he will. Oh, that was a crazy round. And this T side from LeiSuRe, a lot of teams don't do it, but maybe they're not that good at working that slow, methodical style. How do you mask that? Well, if you got 6 shots, this is a way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, just run in there, make them try to trade, and if they're not able to do it and you're able to get in, and especially in that 2v3, I'm a little surprised you're right about that window play. Why would you not go for it? And I think he just answered why, because he doesn't have to. They're able to get it done. That frag in the tunnels was so critical, as you said, LeiSuRe, and they're making it work. I mean, 4 rounds when they were down 5-0, I mean, they're doing some good things here, playing aggressive, but this round we're seeing a little bit of a slow play coming out from LeiSuRe. They maybe have taken their foot off the accelerator a little bit to try to see if they can catch Arcade getting aggressive at some point. Nobody on the CT side doing that yet.
It's kind of like having a good running back or something, or a good fullback in football. Like, you know it's coming, but can you stop it? That's the problem. And Arcade, we got a guy inside of the pit, Sotfic. Eat a little bit of damage. Looks like Coldy will be throwing a pop flash for him. Pop flash a little off, and that's horrible for Sotfic. That flash would have blinded everybody at long. But there's a dink off of something, and then he goes charging through. What is this from Coldy? His teammate must have been scolding him or something. You go for the trade, and you missed your pop flash. JR will get one in return, and Hutchie will go down to Vladirox inside of the tunnel. So once Arcade lost that initial player, they try to go for a bunch of aggressive plays, and it all plays into LeiSuRe's hands.
Arcade in a 2v4 at this point. 1 on the lurk at A site. He gets in there. Might be able to do a huge flank, but JR, I think, is aware of this. Is he going to be able to stop it? That's the question. Mir trying to fight in. Getting some pressure from door, as well as the fire coming out at windows. It's really got them in a bad spot. And there's Light with a flank. Gets refragged, but he gets one, and that's good enough for them. So that's going to put The CT's getting 2,400. JR just doing more damage.
Wow.
Look at this with this up. He gets 2 more.
He's going for it.
Vlad in the sight. Can he do
I don't know if there's a kit.
Is it going to happen? Yeah, you're right. He was going to try to go for it, but really didn't have very much time to be able to make it work. If he'd have gotten there and got the initial frag, maybe time. But yeah, so huge round for LeiSuRe, but they do lose a lot of players. Dave having to come out from Arcade if they want to buy for the next round. We're potentially looking at an 8-7 half. And that's amazing considering that Arcade was up 5-0.
Yeah, really nice by LeiSuRe. For Arcade, they could have had a dominant performance here. Unfortunately for our RT side, they were able to make this interesting style work. And I'm thinking I would have picked up on this if LeiSuRe was running this same exact thing before. Maybe this is some changes on their T side. And we'll maybe see it on the next map's T side if they run this similar style. I've seen some teams do that on Infernos, where they just ignore the smoke meta and all that stuff too and go for hard executes. But anyways, LeiSuRe out mid to B, out of the tunnels, and Light's in danger. That's a big pickup from Arcade. If JR wants to hang on to it, if he wanted to buy an op in the next round, would have been quite stretched economically. So with that op pickup, we'll allow him full utility, or whoever wants to opt full utility. And LeiSuRe's economy, as long as they survive with 5 or survive with 3, the buy should not be too affected in this next round. So, gonna be either 8-7 or 9-6. Either way, at least LeiSuRe have a chance now.
JR doing some damage through that door laser. Gonna have to go ahead and fight. And he does hit him, so a huge shot from JR. Double there at the end. Look at this guy's KD, 18-6 right now. A huge performance by him in this first half, even though the scoreboard was 8-2, now 8-6. Completely different mentality going into the next half. You know, if it's 9-6, okay. If it's 8-7, okay. I mean, like, that's typically what you'd expect. An 8-7 half is roughly, you know, depending on, it's really more of a 50-50 map in my opinion. Depending on the players and stuff, you know, it really could be different. But yeah, if Arcade can make this 9-6, they're still going to be upset about it, but that's not looking good as Light hits a headshot through the door. And look at this B-rush coming in. Here they come. It's the train. They don't care. They're just going to run in here and try to fight. They can get Hutchie and stuff. They should be able to open this thing up.
This LeiSuRe T-style is so interesting to watch. It's a breath of fresh air, really. If the teams did this all the time on Dust 2, we'd have very fast first halves, whoever starts on the T side. But Arcade, they can't retake in LeiSuRe. I'd like to get a count on how fast that half was, because it's got to be way ahead of what we usually see. And just talking about that style a little more, when you aren't as well at playing that slow, methodical style, maybe your reads aren't the greatest, or maybe you're not the greatest at pulling rotations and manipulating them. But if you have sick entry fragging and shots, it's like B's Money Crew on the North American front. If you're able to just trade out effectively, if you have like a 60-40 edge in taking the entry frag fights, maybe even a 55-45, I think it's worth it to go for them. If it's working for you, you can't blame LeiSuRe at all. Yeah, they got stuffed at the beginning with that interesting mid to B strat where they left the bomb inside of the tunnels. They had their offer on top mid, throw the flashes, and then go gather the bomb. We've seen some interesting stuff on LeiSuRe's T side, but it seems like after that first gun round, they were done trying any of the super tricky set strat stuff, and they got 7, down 5-0. You can't fault them at all.
Oh no, and you know, and I guess it really in that situation when you're down 5-0, let's test them. You know, if maybe we're not the best team at doing methodical stuff, like you said, and you know, like, to comment on that as well, maybe it just hasn't worked in the past. I mean, they are 4-0 in this tournament at this point, but maybe they're like, you know, hey, teams know us for trying to be, you know, chill and just wait for things to happen. Since we're down 5-0, why don't we just switch gears? Now, I don't know if that's exactly what they were thinking, but it might be kind of the mentality that they were trying to go for. But who cares at this point? They're going to get it done. And it's going to be a 7-8 half when this was an 8-2 half in favor of Arcade. So Arcade really have got to be beating themselves up a little bit here, not really adapting to that kind of style from LeiSuRe as they realized that it was starting to happen consistently more and more. And it really put them in a bad spot against the wall. So now, Arcade's still a good half, though. You do have to say that. But it could have been so much better.
Definitely.
LeiSuRe here, the chance to win pistol and continue to make this a game.
We will see Light get really aggressive on LeiSuRe's CT side too. Just to further a bit on what LeiSuRe was throwing at Arcade. When you're up against that style as a CT, where you don't see much of the default stuff, you might not get a duel every single round. Somebody might not try to, you know, throw a smoke at your bomb site every single round. You're lulled to sleep kind of, because whenever you do get some action, it is a whole lot of action, and then it's just flashbangs, people in your face, multiple people in the round is decided right then and there at your bomb site or at your position. And that's kind of a frustrating thing as a CT, if you're not able to hold it when you know it's coming. And I think we'll see a slower style here from Arcade as half number 2 begins. I'll give a quick shout out to CSGO2times.com as well. It's a roulette gambling site for your skins. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can use the promo code RGN. Just throw a little /RGN at the end of CSGO2times.com. Get yourself some free coins and try to run it up from there. But Arcade got a bunch of players grouped up at mid. And I think we're just going to see a simple mid to B, or they could shift this off to the catwalk. They don't have anybody at long or outside of long, so this makes me think that it will be a B-side play eventually here, but big entry.
A huge entry for them, and now they've got the CTs on a little bit of a spot where they're like, okay, what are we going to do now? Well, Light's outside long, just doing a lot of damage. Got the T's kind of compressed in this map. Now, really, the question is, where do they go? You know, the T's are in a 3v4. They could try to spread out and get some information, and that's what JR is going to do over on the safe side, is he's trying to fight around, but it looks like the shark in the water is going to be trying to make it work, and that's M&L right now. With this Zeus, can he find his Zeus frag? He goes and hits him for 24.
What is this?
He does hit him to finally get him done, but then ML gets trades out, so that's just, I don't know what that was, but the Zeus does some damage, but doesn't do it all. And here comes the B hit, so now they're going to flood into here. Oh, Remix says, you know what? Not going to happen. 2 tap in the face. Good night. And LeiSuRe. 8-8 scoreline. Back into it. What was going on?
It was crazy. The way Arcade sets up on the T side. Excuse me. And then they get the frag at mid. Begin to fall off of mid and try to set up elsewhere. But that's when Light, he pushes out of long. MNL decides to buy a Zeus. He hears somebody upper B tunnels. He pulls the Zeus, misses it, and then Remux is just able to hold the B from there. I'm shocked that Zeus didn't hit. It looked like that was the minimal distance you could be away from somebody, but it's so close to hitting it. I thought for sure he was going to get that kill, but instead he looks a little foolish for investing that into the pistol round, because that's a lot of your money on pistol.
Yeah, I mean, at least he did get the frag. I mean, it'd be a little bit of a different story if he didn't at least end up killing him. But yeah, you're definitely right. It was interesting. So now, Arcade working on mid, trying to make some things work here. They are going to get cat control. They've got coverage on long. If anybody tries to come through long, they might be punished. And so it looks like they're going to work on this. Remix and Faker at mid. Nobody's in the B site. I think they know what's about to happen. The question is, can they stop it? Light sitting there on A as well. And yeah, I mean, nothing really going on at this point. I mean, some damage taking for sure from both teams, but 48 seconds left. This is a different kind of a T side we saw from LeiSuRe, as they are now going to try to execute onto the site. Here they come. Damn. JR getting a frag. Now this might be opened up for him.
They don't expect another player at long. It's LeiSuRe, but now he's getting flanked by the scouter. A bomb site finally taken. Not necessarily. LeiSuRe wins that key long duel. No bomb plant just yet for Arcade. They need to get it down. I'd even trade the potential of clutching for it. But Goldie, oh, that shot was amazing. I thought for sure that he was going down to LeiSuRe right after he got the bomb down, but the Deeg out to play, and Arcade snatch one.
Sorry, I think I freaked out there, but I mean, yeah, that was insane. I mean, Goldie making it work on that site. Well, yeah, but if I freak out, you know, I'm probably going to blow the audio up. But yeah, it was solid for sure. Very solid. So now we got LeiSuRe here, an armor pistol by, and I think I smell some sort of a B hit. Like, are they going to just bulldoze in here, or are they going to take it slow? And now the decision comes out to take it a little bit slower. But wow, what a round. So 9-8 scoreline. I could have said it the other way around, but this is the first round for Arcade since they were up 8-2. Can they continue to make something happen here? Can they get back into this and start to show that they're better at this map right now?
Yeah, I didn't even notice that they haven't gotten around in a long time, so it's got to feel good. In the Arcade strat, they sent 4 into B tunnels right away. I'm wondering if LeiSuRe didn't throw any smokes or anything into B, if the plan is to execute in if there's nothing there, and then if there is, slow it down and wait for it and then go. That looks like it's the plan. And against a force buy, I kind of like that. So when you have 5-7s alone inside of the bomb site, yeah, you might be able to hit nutty shots and crossfire them as they come in. But I think the T side would have no problem taking into the bomb site against the 5-7s when, or just right away at the beginning of the round. As LeiSuRe struggling, Arcade wait out the smoke. The bomb site has been taken now. Light, I think the moment the bomb is clicked, he'll start booking it through the smoke. And, yep, there it is. 1 for 1.
Yeah, bomb not going down, though, so that's a small victory for him. But in the end, the economy for Arcade is getting a little bit better. And LeiSuRe, with that armor pistol buy, they know, okay, I got $2,400 coming up if they lose this round. They only got $1,900, so they did kind of make themselves in a double save situation. And they get $2,400 after this round. They should be able to buy a limited amount of stuff, some of them a little bit more than others. Here's Sophic just trying to work up. Look at this with this drive-by Mac 10. He just runs up cat mid. Nobody sees him. Now he's on cat, just trying to sniff anything out. But as a counter for that, JR gets out long, gets a frag at car. Sophic should be able to spot this. Can he fight Light in the site? And the CTs are going to flank him on cat. Are they going to be able to win this?
It sucks for the CT flanking because the most he'll get out of this is $300 and maybe a Mac 10. Oh, I kind of like that from Faker. He just lurks out long, knows that Coldie's on its way, but he can't hit the headshots. So Arcade beginning to develop another lead here. Maybe LeiSuRe just slow starters tonight. It took them a while to get going on their other side. Maybe the same here on the CT. I don't necessarily think that's the case. But Arcade already showing us a different T side, a way to play it. And JR fast out long. Okay, they're gonna go quite quickly now. JR, these are some sick nade and utility. The way he took long was actually just crazy. He smokes himself off for the close entrance outside of the doors. Then a flashbang is thrown over. Oh, I killed my pop filter. Then a flash is thrown over, and right after that, he throws a Molotov right for the corner. So a single man long take. Generally, you struggle to do that with like 2 or 3 people throwing utility, but that's a really clever way to take out long, but it doesn't seem to have too much of an effect on the round just yet, as LeiSuRe weren't playing it.
Sophic taking a little bit of fire there on cat. Did have to fight some. Now it looks like they're trying to work into B, but Remus is just sitting there going, you know, hey, what are you trying to do in here? Get away from me. Baker's actually helping him too, so they are going to get 2 frags in there. Can they shut this down? Remix is going to have to get 1. Can he get 2? No, Vlad says he wants 1 too. They're all getting in on this action. That's down to JR on a 1v4. JR, could he get in here? He could get 1. And since none of these CTs have head armor, it is going to be a one-shot headshot on any of these players. I don't think that they were aware of that. So he comes in, gets 1, but he is going to get traded really quick. So LeiSuRe winning the round, 9-11 the score line here in favor of Arcade with the 11 rounds. And gets shut down a little bit, but the buy's still coming in from Arcade. They're going to be able to buy into this. And if they win this round, depending on how much LeiSuRe buys, they're going to get reset. Yep. And if they do that and get reset again, this is really going to allow Arcade to step it up. And I think now we're going to see Arcade having JR op mid. I think it's one of the first times I've seen him actually opping at this point. I don't know if he saw how many crossed, but the grenade went down to cover it. So a different pacing here coming out. And like you said, LeiSuRe, it is a little bit different. And they're going to set up here in a default, just covering these angles. JR moving up mid casually with this op, trying to find 1. If he can find 1, then they can make a decision.
Yeah, I was a little worried for Arcade that they'd try the long play back-to-back. And as LeiSuRe now are playing long. So the CT side of LeiSuRe, they got that style at A where they pick either cat or long, and that's what they're going to try to hold, leaving the other one relatively open. Maybe not as much this round compared to the catwalk to long as the previous one, because Vladirox is spotting out catwalk a little bit, whereas last round Arcade were completely allowed to come out long. Some sick nade work by JR. I just can't get over how smooth that long take was solo. Arcade Mid control, cat control. They're throwing some mid to B stuff while they're coming down into the catwalk. Oh no, the LeiSuRe player inside of the spawn gets caught by Sotfic, who flashes himself out catwalk. And now it's just up to the B players. They're gonna crumble too. One player inside of the site remaining in Remux. If he doesn't get 2 more, the round is over. And JR will end his life. So LeiSuRe, do you try to retake or do you double save? It's a tough spot.
Gonna find out in just a second. Now you run. Now you run at this point, but I don't know if he's going to get the chance to do it. Vlad actually gets a frag. That's good, but not going to be enough here to really do much. He does. Let's hear some noise. Oh, through the door does peek into that, so good frag by him. I guess maybe he could try to go for this. I think he actually is going to attempt to do something here. Yep, goes down. So at first I was like, no, it's a 1v4, but with those 2 quick frags, I mean, you could justify that in your mind, but Arcade winning around 12-9, and this is where the situation gets bad for LeiSuRe. Because they mathematically, right, LeiSuRe, they should lose this round. Okay, they should. And then they will be able to buy the next round, but it's going to be a tight buy depending on how many pistols they buy. And so now we got to see what JR is going to do with this op at mid. But yeah, you made a good point about the change of pace and that long take. JR with this long op again, not doing anything fancy with his fakes and nades, but he's going to get the first one. That's going to allow Hutji to get out. Goes down to a P2000. That's odd. Soft to get some work done. And now the B tunnels is just complete chaos. They're going to flood in here and try to make these frags work.
They might have got pinched in. MNL might have wanted to waited a little bit longer for the rest of the team. And you're highlighting it. Look at that money of LeiSuRe. It's so bad. Remux with 37. Light with 36. Light's a critical fragger with that AWP. And a couple of you guys might be thinking, well, why didn't they just save their weapons in the 2-on-4? Well, it's because they wanted to avoid this situation, because now it's a really bad situation already. And I like your chances in that 2-on-4 and the potential to avoid this situation. Probably worth it. Arcade coming out long now. Vladirox gets some good timing from his teammate. LeiSuRe, nice little rally. Nice teamwork as they hold that long, but already out catwalk. Coldy might be able to eliminate Light before he could fall back into the long area. There's still a player at long here for Arcade. He needs to stay alive for as long as possible. This is going to be so frustrating for LeiSuRe. They're spending all the time in the world just for this one player.
Very odd to see this. Look at this. Mir and JR making it work. And even though the refrag comes in from Remix, it doesn't matter because he has to come off from the site. It's not going to happen. Arcade wins the round. And it's amazing to see one person staying alive at long in that smoke could attract 3 players' attention. While the A site happens from Cat, and now LeiSuRe's in a bad spot, they have to play for the tie now. I mean, they're in deep trouble. Deep trouble.
And it
so
sucks.
Now, yeah, it's horrible. And now Arcade has a great spawn for the B hit. If they wanted to try something aggressive, they're not going to. They're going to just play back and see what the CTs decide to do. But yeah, you talk about how critical it was for him to stay alive. And a lot of people in CS, a good shot by JR, but a lot of people in CS, I think, really just think, oh, you got to take all these aim duels and one-on-ones. And, you know, sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes staying alive is more important than getting an ace in some situations, you could say. So here they are. They're going to flood into the B site. JR surviving. I don't know how JR even sees this player, but he's in sight. Light is. And now it's Vlad in a 1v5. Fighting with a P250. 1 HP. Now 0. So Arcade 15-9, it looks like they should be able to close it out, barring LeiSuRe coming back from this. They are going to have a good buy, though. Gildy should be okay. Not amazing, but enough to maybe stop a little bit. But look at this. JR 30-10 right now. He was 18-6 the last time I checked. Now 30-10. Keeping on that 3 KD, and that's amazing. LeiSuRe, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, you touched on an interesting point. It's like a fundamental point of Counter-Strike. You can ace and still lose the round for your team, and you can also not get any kills and win the round for your team. It's funny how that works. But Arcade, that is a very strong way to end the match. Just right away at the beginning of the round. That's more LeiSuRe style, what Arcade just did. Just busting right away at the beginning of the round. And that's hard to predict if you're LeiSuRe, when Arcade has been giving you the slow stuff. And then all of a sudden, right away at the beginning, there's just players everywhere, all over B. LeiSuRe buckle inside the B-bomb site. No save. This is the last round. They got to go for it. JR caught peeking from the window. And now MNL, they have to make their way around this one player inside of middle, but that's Coldy. He's able to go 1 for 1. So 2-on-1 into the bomb site. The other remaining T isn't near, but no kit for MNL, and he's already running out of time to defuse the bomb. No chance. That's 16-9 for Arcade. Couple of key rounds won in the end there for Arcade, but LeiSuRe just didn't give themselves much of a chance on the CT side once their economy got crippled.
Yeah, they were put in a spot where they did a great job when they were Ts, but as CTs, Arcade just too strong for them, and they were unable to come back into this. So really just a quick synopsis about that. I think Arcade played better overall. I think CT side being up 8-2 and ending at 8-7 was not what they wanted, but they still were able to hold their composure. Even after losing the pistol round, they were able to come back into it and slowly chip away at LeiSuRe and their CT side that wasn't able to really do much, and they're going to win it. And now we're going to be heading to Mirage here, LeiSuRe. So that's going to be a fun match to see here coming up in this best of 3. This will be the second map, and if needed, we will go to Cash after Mirage.
Didn't even get a chance to look at whose map was which, and that was LeiSuRe's map choice. That is quite worrisome, given that their T side didn't look as coordinated. I mean, maybe coordinated in the sense that they all were able to entry frag. But Arcade moving onto their map choice, and we saw the way they were able to work on their T side. I think that Mirage will play into their favor. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to determine who is going to win the upper bracket finals of our European Open Qualifier. Stay tuned.